Recently, I realized my sketchbook had become a collection of floating heads, a shoulder-up portrait, another shoulder-up portrait, and another one. Apparently, drawing bodies became optional. The last time I actually practiced a full body poses was about a year ago, so I decided to draw 50 poses in 3 days to force myself out of my comfort zone. Let's get started. I decided to draw a first pose with you and save another 49 for later. Before starting this challenge, my anatomy knowledge was, let's just say, very limited. The only thing I remembered was that artists usually simplified the ribcage into something like a sphere with a piece cut of it, and the pelvis into shape that looked like a pair of underwear. So I opened my reference and simply started drawing what I saw. At first I wasn't really thinking about muscles or proportions or anything complicated. My goal was to understand where the simple forms should go. I think this is something beginners often underestimate. We see professional artists drawing these weird boxes, spheres, and cylinders and think they're making just progress longer for no reason. I definitely used to think that. I would ask myself, why not just draw the person directly? I genuinely used to think that was unnecessary. After all, nobody can see a ribcage through your sweater, right? So why bother drawing it? But the answer is actually pretty simple. You don't see the bones themselves, but you absolutely see their influence on the body. They determine where the muscles attach, where the skin stretches, where the certain shadows appear, and where the silhouette changes. Even if you're drawing a fully closed character, those underlying forms are still affecting everything on top. This pose is actually a great example. The girl's ribcage is clearly visible. It pushes against the skin and creates these subtle planes along the side of her body. If I had ignored the ribcage completely, I probably would have connected the torso with one smooth line. Technically, it would still look like a body, but it would lose that sense of structure that makes it believable. After finishing the first pose, I wasn't thinking like I'm good at anatomy. Not even close. Instead, I felt like I finally figured out what I'm supposed to pay attention to. And honestly, that was already enough motivation to keep going with the remaining 49 poses. After the next 5 poses, things finally started to make sense. I think this ended up being some of my best attempts in this entire challenge. The biggest realization I had was understanding how the arms actually connect to the body. Before, I kind of treated them like a separate object that just somehow attached to the torso. I don't think that you need to memorize every single muscle or every bone in the human body. In my opinion, it's much more important to understand the biggest structure first. The ribcage, the pelvis, the head, and the muscles that connect the arms to the torso. These have to be anatomically accurate, but the rest of the body can usually be simplified into simpler shapes. This time I decided to try a pose from the back. I mostly relied on intuition. I'm still not as happy with it as I am with previous 5 poses, but I'll take that as a small win. One thing that really stood out to me though is how clearly the ribcage is readable in this pose. It's one of those details that's easy to ignore until you realize how much it affects the silhouette. They might seem simple, but they can completely change how believable your drawing looks. The following 5 poses quickly became my favorites. They finally started to feel dynamic, and more importantly, they actually look like 5 different people instead of the same person pretending to have 5 different hobbies. Eventually, I reached the point where I had basically exhausted all the interesting references of regular people on Pinterest. But every artist knows that if you want to practice anatomy, there's one guy who's always there for you. Spider-Man. The internet is absolutely full of photos of him in every pose and every angle imaginable. And unlike real people, he's not wearing an oversized hoodie that hides his entire body. It actually turned out to be a lot of fun. The only problem was that out of previous 20 poses, maybe 5 of them were male, so switching from female to male anatomy was humbling. Getting the proportions right was much harder than I expected. Ironically, these 5 sketches ended up being my weakest so far. Another 5 done, and I tried to draw Spider-Man. I like this one very good, even though there's like this perspective thing in arms and it's kind of looking wonky, but I like this. But I don't know what's wrong because, you know, Tobey Maguire. Actually, don't know what's wrong, but something is wrong. This is clearly the worst one. It's 25th drawing and so bad, really? That bad? Well, confidence doesn't always improve your drawings. The next 5 Spider-Man were much easier. Along the way, I started noticing some general differences between the male and female anatomy. Men often have broader shoulders, wider chests, and thicker arms. Women, on the other hand, usually have a wider pelvis and proportionally fuller legs. I really enjoyed drawing the next 5 poses. By this point, I was finally getting used to how the body works, and more importantly, what I could simplify and what I actually needed to pay attention to. I also noticed that I was getting much faster. These 5 poses took me about half an hour in total, while the first 5 took me around an hour. So apparently my brain finally was doing something useful. Look at my puppy. Well, if you already ran out of regular references and even Spider-Man isn't here for you, there's one more option left. William Defoe. I don't even know if I need to explain this one. Every photo shoot has some completely ridiculous but somehow perfect pose in it, so if you want to practice drawing something more dynamic and interesting, I highly recommend looking up William Defoe's photo shoots. 40 poses down, 10 more to go. At this point, I decided it was probably time to check whether I had actually learned anything, or if I had just gotten really good at copying references. So I put all my references away and started using my head. I managed to draw 3 poses out of 10 before something completely unexpected happened. It's been some time, guys. Almost 3 weeks since I posted my last video. That's kind of bad, whatever, I'm back. For this challenge, currently, it's been, I guess, a week since I haven't drawn anything for this challenge. I stop right there, I draw 43 poses. I have 7 poses to draw. I'll do it right now. I will not have time any sooner. I don't know how to name this video because I spent on this 50 drawings about like 3 days. It's day 3 basically of me drawing, but it's been like 9 days from the start of the challenge, and I don't want to name this like I've learned anatomy in 10 days because I've actually learned it in day 1. It's kind of clickbait, I know. Who cares? I have like, I don't know, 20 minutes. That's all. We'll see if I'm able to draw 7 poses in 20 minutes. Let's go! Of course, it didn't turn out nearly as well as poses that I drew with references. Some of proportions were off and I couldn't make the poses feel nearly as dynamic. Even though the final result is definitely not what I would call perfect, I think the confidence I gained from it is more important. And finally, the last 5 poses! By this point, everything felt much easier and I'm pretty sure I was drawing them much faster too. But what I enjoyed the most was coming up with little stories for some of poses. When you're drawing from references, you always see one moment. You don't know what happened 5 minutes before, or what's gonna happen 5 minutes after, but when you're drawing from your imagination, you get to decide all of that. You come up with a little story and then try to capture that story in one pose. So 50 poses later, I can actually see the difference. I understand the body much better than I did at the beginning. I also stopped trying to copy every little shape from the reference and started simplifying the body into a few basic forms. There's still plenty of things I need to learn, and my imagination drawings made that very clear. But now at least I know what I have to practice more. I spent 3 days drawing people in every possible direction, so I guess my hands had no choice but to learn something. If you enjoyed watching my video, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, because apparently my dog has more subscribers than I do. So tell me in the comments what do you think about this video and how did you learn your anatomy. This is me in other social medias like TikTok and Instagram. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Look at my puppy. She's so cute.